of Fubo.tv to watch this game today. So I'm sure there are people around the country scrambling right now. By the way, Stanford has different helmets. First time ever in their football history wearing the Stanford script on their helmets. One-time deal, but they're introducing that for today's game. Notre Dame deferred after winning the toss. And so Bryce Farrell fair catches the opening kick for Stanford. So a little different look. Yep, that's the Stanford script. And by the way, the script for Stanford is normally associated with their baseball team. That's why it's going to be a one-time deal, but thought they'd try something different today. Ashton Daniels has done most of the quarterbacking for Stanford this year.
Yeah, and he's going to be the guy for the majority of the day. You'll see a little bit of Justin Lamson, and just it's so unique, Ted, with these two quarterbacks. They're the two leading rushers on this team, so you'll see a lot of quarterback run, and that has Notre Dame a little nervous based on that scheme.
Stanford has been hurt like many teams are late in the year, shredded by injuries as Isle Manor catches a first pass. A couple of big running backs for them that they would expect to play. Casey Filkins not going to play. Benjamin Jurasik, top tight end, got hurt a few weeks back, is out. E.J. Smith walked just today. Stanford senior day, as we often talk about, has a much different meaning. E.J. Smith walked, of course. Dad Emmett is here. But doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to play. Look at that split, Yogi, on the offensive line. How about that? And two straight throws to Isle Manor to start things, still short of a first down.
Well, look, Notre Dame is the most aggressive defense Stanford has faced all season long. I mean, this defense under coordinator Al Golden, they want to bring a lot of pressure. So you'll see Stanford today in these wide splits try to force Notre Dame to declare what they're going to do defensively. And as you're watching now, get used to it. Stanford is going to milk the play clock all game long.
Yeah. And Stanford has brought in their second quarterback, Justin Lamson, who is a good running quarterback on the short third down. Heavy personnel package. And as well, look at this. Lamson breaks through. Inside the 20. When have you seen a team last run quarterback power and have the quarterback run with this kind of power?
And they get a pull from their left guard, Jake Michla, and he just keeps his legs moving. And that's Justin Lamson, the athleticism of him. You talk to the staff. They say he's got a real natural feel as a running back. How about this? Patience, keep the leg drive going, runs right through a couple arm tackles, explosive play. Stanford in the ground game, we have not said that often.
And it's against a nationally ranked Notre Dame defense. 49-yard play. Now the option pitch is stopped for a loss by Notre Dame. Maris Liufau with the tackle for loss. As you see that what Lamson has meant to Stanford, and we'll develop this story for those who may not be aware. Stanford utterly decimated by transfers at the end of last season, most notably on the offensive line.
Yeah, and all of them are pretty much playing everywhere around the country.
And that having to play so many young, inexperienced people up front, that's hurt their run game this year. Daniels back at quarterback, sacked. Notre Dame defense reacting to giving up the big play.
This Notre Dame defensive front, they're so active with their hands, their twists, their stunts. You look at just the power. Look at that strength, speed to power from number 8 right in the middle of the screen there, Maris Liufau. He's a dominant player, and it was interesting talking to Al Golden, our D coordinator this week. He said, this is the most challenging offense we've had to face all year because they do so much. Personnel groupings, splits, different quarterbacks. That helps you when you're in third and forever.
Well, two big plays by Liufau. The sack makes it 3rd and 18. Daniels flushed out. Being chased, is going to run away from Cross. He'll get some yardage. And that's a nice effort by Ashton Daniels to give Stanford's excellent place kicker Joshua Carty a much closer kick. And that's the next one. We were talking to Troy Taylor, the Stanford coach, yesterday, and Yogi brought up the 2-point conversion thing. And one element that factors into Troy Taylor's thinking, this guy's as good a kicker as there is in the country, is really different.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I love talking to him about, Ted, is how he often says how he's always inspired by his team, able to get up after a tough loss last week to prepare for this one here today.
Right here, Stanford kicking off after the Cardi field goal. And the other interesting part about the Troy Taylor thing was when we had a chance to visit this week, and even before the game with Marcus Freeman, the Notre Dame head coach, and then Al Golden, their DC, they both unsolicited talked about what a good hire Stanford made in Troy Taylor. Yeah, they just continually talked about how challenging their system is to prepare for, especially on offense. We saw that with the big play on the first drive. Defensively, they're also going to see a variety of different fronts. So for Marcus Freeman in the run game, it's really imperative on this offensive line, who's got a starter for the second week in a row at center. All right, so here's Notre Dame. You'll see this big offensive line. They do go with a lot of bigger personnel packages, and they have a huge running back, and Estime makes his presence felt immediately. Yeah, we talked about the center. That's Ashton Craig. First start last week against Wake Forest. Right over the ball. God, he looks physical moving the line of scrimmage. And Notre Dame goes right to tempo after a 9-yard first down play. Hartman's first pass gets Notre Dame a first down. Catch by Rico Flores. We talked to their OC, Jared Parker, and we said, hey, do you want to go tempo? And he goes, you know, that's usually when we've been at our best this year. So anticipate that a little bit, especially after a first down, trying to find a little rhythm. There he is, first year as an offensive coordinator. So right away, Notre Dame for a first down. The one little area of the grass that had to be replaced, otherwise the field is pristine. And Hartman's going to get out. Not a guy that runs a lot, but man, good job here by the Notre Dame quarterback. And then the ball is stripped. And Stanford takes it. Jashawn Frausto Ramos up with it. How about the freshman making a big play? You just got to tuck it away for such a veteran. Trying to with two hands, but not truly high and tight. And how about the freshman, Jashawn Frausto Ramos? The strip, the pickup, punching it out. Yeah, the ball was a little low there for Hartman, Ted. You want to have that one as high and tight as possible. 4 points of pressure, nothing there. And in a stadium that we know is not sold out, the Stanford sidelines got juice like it is sold out. Yeah. A 25-yard run by Hartman, but the turnover, Notre Dame coming in +8 for the year turnover margin, so it's not something they've dealt with very often. But now can Stanford capitalize? A little flip, reverse run by Farrell. Receiver Bryce Farrell, and he's dragged down. Excellent Notre Dame defensive play by Thomas Harper. What Stanford will, they know on their side, they were talking, Troy Taylor made a huge point yesterday. Notre Dame's defense, nationally ranked, experienced. An incredible number of 5th and 6th year players, graduate students all along this defense. One of the few that's not made the tackle there, Benjamin Morrison, driving Farrell out of bounds, but back-to-back passes to Bryce Farrell. It's a Stanford first down. And this defense, you look across the board, and to your point, such experience at Notre Dame, but also within this system now. Second year under Al Golden. There's a lot to his scheme. There's a lot of movement. You got to communicate well. They've done an incredible job this year. Trying to bring pressure on Daniels, and they get him. He does dump the ball, and it's going to be a loss. Not as much as the sack would have been. E.J. Smith is dropped. And Yogi, that's the question. Watching Notre Dame last week, they blitzed relentlessly against Wake Forest. Well, look, any team that can play man-to-man like Notre Dame can, and then they can get home with the rushers they have, it's going to give you problems. It happened against Ohio State. It happened against USC. And we saw it on that last play, man-to-man coverage. So these receivers of Stanford, they're going to have to win in man coverage. They're going to have to win against press. They're going to have to win at the line of scrimmage. And the timing anticipation from Ashton Daniels is going to have to be a premium. Sack coming here. Daniels needing to get rid of the ball. Doesn't. Riley Mills with the Notre Dame sack. Watch his man-to-man coverage right here. Alec Iomanner
Cam Hart all over it. Driving on the quick game. He's sitting there. You see how he sits there around 7-8 yards? So he's looking at the quarterback, watching a quick drop from Daniels. He drives on it. Daniels wanted to go there. Nothing doing. And then the pressure got home. And that's the beautiful design of this scheme from Al Golden.
And we understand that this is a match. The Notre Dame defensive front against Stanford's offensive line. Notre Dame is a heavy favorite. So the ball has to come out, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And it's got to come out with incredible precision.
There again, well, Daniels held it enough there. Nope, low throw, incomplete to tight end Sam Roush. And so the Notre Dame defense, very big play there after the turnover to get a punt.
Yeah, and it's important to note, you referenced the injuries of the players that transferred on the offensive line. Stanford's starting two true freshmen today. Left tackle, right guard against one of the most experienced defenses in the country. They've struggled on obvious passing downs thus far.
So the Stanford punt coming. And Aiden Flintoff, the other day practice, really working on angling Pittsburgh. Luck and McCaffrey. There's Estime busting through, and this is the challenge Stanford was well aware of, as this guy is just massive and having a huge year as Audric Estime.
This offensive line is so impressive. Look at this group right inside. I mean, come on, man. They're just putting bodies on bodies. Pat Coogan, Joe Alt, this left side of this offensive front. It's been such a force all season, and they know that Stanford's going to start bringing pressure in this run game, which opens up so much.
Well, you see Estime's season, and that play, this one actually will defy it. Estime has been averaging almost 7 yards a carry on first downs this year, which is stunning. He got a first down on the first carry. Not there as Gaithan Bernadette leads the Stanford defense.
The thing you'll see today is a group of young wide receivers for Notre Dame. This freshman trio done a really nice job, but also the tight ends. They'll utilize tight ends as well as anybody in America. 2, 3 on the field at a time.
But Notre Dame sent a tight end to the NFL. Last year, Michael Mayer. They lost their top tight end this year. Mitchell Evans out with a ACL against Pitt. Hartman stands in. Deep out throw is caught. Inbounds. Let's see. It is inbounds. Great catch by Chris Tyree.
How about the former running back just getting that right foot down. Quarterback Sam Hartman's been really special this year. These types of throws. Look at that. The awareness to look at the ball. Watch his eyes that go to the catch and then right to the ground with his right foot.
And there's Estime up the middle, and he is gone. Touchdown, Notre Dame. .39-yard run by Estime for his 15th run touchdown of the season.
You'll see as this play begins, number 9 right there, Eli Raridan. He just meets Tristan Sinclair and finishes the block off, and that springs Estime for a walk. Bursts right through the second, third layer of the Stanford defense.
Spencer Schrader, big leg, and a good year as the one-year kicker for Notre Dame, and so Notre Dame answers with 2 explosive plays of their own.
And they're doing it on the ground. It's been physical at the line of scrimmage. Audric Estime finding his way through the line of scrimmage. Fandom everywhere, Ted. Fandom everywhere around here today.
I'm proud of that. Bryce Farrell let that go for a touchback.
Well, Ted, so good.
That was after a haircut, too. Man. That was fun. Student radio is regaling some of the Notre Dame people as Daniels throws on first down to Lyle Manor of that era when Rudy was on the team, and I happened to be on the sideline as a manager for the Rudy game. They're asking, did that really happen? The current Pete Bavacqua, who's going to take over as the athletic director at Notre Dame. And yeah, it really happened.
So many great stories. That was a great one, though, that we dug that
but
one
winning, I mean, look, the point about this matchup is what it means on the other side. When Stanford wins at Notre Dame, as they did last year, here comes a corner blitz. Daniels escapes and gets the ball. The second big play for Stanford. E.J. Smith all the way to the Notre Dame 20. 53 yards.
I'll keep an eye on E.J. Smith just as the play develops. He's going to sneak behind linebacker. You see a linebacker dropping right here into coverage. Nothing there. He just works his way slowly. The eyes of Ashton Daniels downfield, gets it up and over linebacker Jordan Botelho's outstretched arms. Another explosive play.
Empty backfield and a quarterback run, but Daniels can't escape. Brought down by Jack Kaiser.
Take a look at that pass on the previous play. Eyes downfield, see his head, eyes downfield, sees it the whole time, sees the defender, number 12, Botelho, gets it right over those fingertips. And how about E.J. Smith? I know Emmett was standing up somewhere in the stadium.
By far the longest pass play of E.J. Smith's career. Daniels to Smith to the middle. That's going to be a Stanford first down.
So you wonder, like, Al Golden and Marcus Freeman said this is the most challenging offense they had to face and prepare for all season. They've gone against Ohio State. They've gone against a slow mesh in Wake Forest, USC. But it's the diversity of scheme under Troy Taylor. Remember, when he was a high school coach for over a decade, he was meeting with Chris Peterson, Chip Kelly, Mike Leach, trying to figure out what he wanted to do. But the last handful of years has developed every instance that you need to find success on offense.
Look at where Smith motions in. Emmitt Smith acting almost like a tight end. And Daniels breaks away from one and now fires it away. So Notre Dame getting it to Daniels twice in this drive, but unable to bring him down.
Keep an eye on Jack Kaiser right here. Ted, you referenced the motion. There's Smith. Here's Kaiser. Watch the coverage. He's all over it. He's in his hip pocket. He tries to get a pick right there, a little rub from Iomanner. Nothing doing. Really nice job by the veteran Kaiser at linebacker.
But how about that, to see where Emmitt Smith, E.J. Smith is going? I mean, a running back motioning him all around as a receiver. That's part of this advanced Troy Taylor scheme. Here's another wrinkle. Look at this gap up in the offensive lineman, and Daniels goes right up the middle with it. Really, Notre Dame reacts, and Daniels gets to about the 5.
Look, the biggest key in red zone defense, you see Troy Taylor, he's trying to get going here, is communication. And you saw those wide splits. We've never seen Stanford run that type of split on the offense front all season long, right? So here's Notre Dame saying, what are we doing here? Looking at the sideline, trying to communicate. Daniels gets to the line of scrimmage, whoop, all of a sudden he goes.
Somewhere up above, Mike Leach is looking down going, why didn't I think of that?
Well, it forces you to just play base defense if you're Notre Dame down here inside the 10.
All right, plays come in from the side for Stanford on 3rd and goal. Smith again motioning. And that's where Daniels is looking, and he's hammered. Man, he was right smothered by Jack Kaiser. That was like heat-seeking. Jack Kaiser was glued to E.J. Smith.
Well, it's a great job by Kaiser on the motion, Ted. He goes over his teammates and then comes down on top of E.J. Smith.
Well, it's a Notre Dame defense, and this is first quarter vintage bend but don't break. 2 red zone trips for Stanford, 2 field goal tries. Cardi has only missed 3 this year. 2 of them were in the same game. It helped Arizona win here. But Cardi 2 for 2 in this first quarter. And Notre Dame's lead is a point. Marcus Freeman, by the way, that loss resonated pretty well last year. Stanford players we talked to about it yesterday, but from the Notre Dame side, Marcus Freeman, if Notre Dame wins today, that's 9 wins in each of his first 2 seasons. That has not happened often in Notre Dame football history.
No, and I think today it's just fascinating to watch these 2 programs because they're dealing with different realities when you look at what is going on in college football. We talked to Marcus Freeman, hey, how do you get transfers in? And he said, you got to be a graduate or you got to be a freshman, right? You can't just go get 10, 15, 20 new players. So you got to really develop within the program. And I think with where Notre Dame sits now to what you said, Ted, about his record, the type of person he is, what people say about him in the program. I mean, this thing for Notre Dame, I think, is in a very healthy place with him as the head coach.
These are 2 schools that we're cherishing this day because these 2 schools are representing what's still right about this sport. And But they have different approaches, as we referenced. We asked Marcus Freeman that. Yeah, transfers at Notre Dame, he said, could be much easier in a graduate school. Stanford's the 180. Stanford, they play the portal. They have to go the undergrad route. The kick muffed at the goal line and then recovered in a nice way. And running it out to the 30-yard line is Jadarian Price. Stanford says the ball out. Ruling a Stanford ball.
How about that? Let's keep an eye on the end of the play. Oh, just punched once, twice. Does it come out? It does come out before anything touches the ground. And Stanford on special teams.
So Jadarian Price with the second Notre Dame fumble of the first quarter. It's Terrian Williams on the play for Stanford special teams. And so the Notre Dame defense, that's nationally ranked defense, but placed in some burdensome spots in the first quarter.
Yeah, watch, just totally just flying to the football. Williams, that right arm is the one that punches it out, and he sees it, dives right onto it. This is a guy who's been challenged this year throughout the season to continue to elevate his game. Huge play.
Daniels pulls the ball back from E.J. Smith, hits Io Manor, who takes it down and still fighting inside the 15.
Look, the one thing you knew this Stanford team was going to compete again, man-to-man coverage. They're trying to get a couple rub routes, had a couple picks. They finally get one. They went over throughout the first quarter in this ball game. They get a little bit of a rub route, a little separation, and Io Manor showcasing his ability to catch it with that big body. Nobody taking him down.
Well, this is where Stanford's Troy Taylor wants to get on that play card. He does all the play calling and make sure that you get this ball in the end zone. Lampson, by the way, is split outside right, and they bank it. Touchdown, Tiger Bachmeier. Well, there's the clever play design using Justin Lampson, the quarterback, wide right as a fake. First rush touchdown for Tiger Bachmeier, a freshman. Stanford has had to have freshmen step in, first-year players, that receiver. But again, the just crazy clever play design.
Oh, this is incredible. Watch the fake. You'll see it. There's Bachmeier. Here comes Lampson as he continues on. The fake right there. Entire Notre Dame defense thinks that Lampson's going to get it, gets sucked in to follow number 8. Look at this angle right here. You see number 20. He's going. He's following Lampson all day long. Benjamin Morrison, the only underclassman on that defense, showed a little bit of that inexperience. The bait, switch, touchdown. Stanford getting in for 6.
And again, a little backstory here for those who may not be familiar with our Pac-12 footprint and what you hear during this game and what you'll see. Stanford University has made a decision about 2 decades ago, and they've stuck with it. They closed this entire campus Thanksgiving week. Close it. Undergrads go home. And this game is an exception, and as a result, you don't see an awful lot of students here. You don't see... Honestly, the crowd is heavily tilted to Notre Dame people. And that's been the case, and that's just a decision the university made. They literally closed this campus. Every building is dark. Well, here's the fueled moment.
And that's that play moments ago. Watch number 20 just drive on it. Morrison, he's following Lampson the whole time. Easy by top.
Watch this game today. So I'm sure there are people around the country.
Stanford, who has not found a lot of touchdowns in the red zone, Ted. Only 52% of the time when they get in the red zone, they're finding 6 points. They get a huge one there.
And that's why they had to take advantage. 2 turnovers in the first quarter. And the second one they turned into. So Bryce Farrell fair catches the opening kick. Faison, another freshman that wasn't even supposed to be playing this year. at least playing football. And he's stepped in and proved himself in practice and winds up playing a more significant role for Notre Dame in the second half of the year. By the way, he's a lacrosse player.
Yeah, by the way.
That was originally his scholarship at Notre Dame.
And just, it's so unique, Ted, with these two quarterbacks. They're the two leading.
9-yard first down play. And now